Hey, it's James, and this week's question comes from Romana, and she's actually got two questions. I'm going to answer both of those because I think a lot of people will be able to relate to both of these questions. Now, before I do that, quick reminder, if you've got a question, I'd love to hear from you. And all you've got to do to ask your question is respond to any of the emails I send out. Those all go directly to me. And give me a little bit of background and context to your particular situation. And then let me know what your specific question is. I look forward to hearing from you and hopefully answering one of your questions on one of these videos in the not too distant future. So with that being said, let's get to Romana's first question. To give a little background and context to where she's at, she has been an employee for the past 15 years, ever since graduating university, and she wants to know how to make the transition from being an employee to an entrepreneur. Now, because she's dependent on the income she gets from her employee, her specific question is, do you have any ideas or suggestions to help me make that transition to stop being an employee and start becoming an entrepreneur in an orderly and safe way? So as I thought about your question, Romana, obviously we could spend a whole week on a course of building a business, growing a business, scaling a business, and all the skill sets, all the action steps. And I'm going to give you a few action steps here in just a second. But more important than that, I'm going to do something you probably don't expect, and it's give you a mindset shift, which is probably going to be a little bit of a curveball for you. But the reason I'm doing this is because I want to set you up for success and build off of that success. And you'll see what I mean here in just a second. As you know from seeing some of my trainings, I believe 90% of the game is played above the shoulders. Mindset is so important. You get that stuff figured out, the rest will follow. And so here's the mindset shift I want to share with you, is that I believe you are already an entrepreneur. I believe you're already an entrepreneur. Now, why do I say that? Because if you think about it, right now, you've already got a client, which is your employer, and you likely solve a challenge for them and add value to their business, and that's why they exchange money for those services. So the real question, I believe, is how do we build off of that success? You're already further ahead than you think you are in the sense of being an entrepreneur. And I find when you start seeing yourself as that, that's going to make it easier and set yourself up for success. This is the same way I approach things when I made that transition myself. So I realized, hey, wait a minute, I'm already an entrepreneur. And what I want to do is grow those entrepreneurial skill sets. As you know, I believe everything is a skill that we can learn. So let's just build off of those skills. That makes sense? Just like I believe we are all the CEOs of our life. If you think about that, we all have to make decisions of how we allocate our time, how we allocate our finances, what we choose to invest in, what we choose. Those are very important decisions. We are the ones that make those. We are the CEOs of our life. When you have that mindset, I think it changes everything. So you're already an entrepreneur. How do we build off that success? How do you get more clients? How do you get more clients that maybe pay you more? How do you get clients that you can work with on your terms? You mentioned you want to work from home. So how do we do that? Here's what I recommend. A couple action steps. And again, these are going to be simple because I want to set you up for success. Obviously, we could teach a whole week-long course on specifically how to do this, but because we don't have time in this particular video, I got to give you sort of the best things I feel. And so here's what I recommend. First and foremost, what gets scheduled gets done. You've probably heard me say that many times before. Right now, I would schedule, as soon as you're done watching this video, time to work on your business, on growing your business. When is that going to be? Is it going to be in the morning? Is it going to be in the afternoon? Is it going to be in the evening? Doesn't matter how much time you have, schedule something each week. A lot of people I hear talk about, oh, I don't have all this time. I don't have enough time to work on a business. Even if it's only 10 minutes a week, schedule it in. Why? Because I want to build the habit of devoting time to work on your business. That's the only way it's going to get done. What gets scheduled gets done. Once you've done that, now we can fill that time with things that are going to help you build your entrepreneurial muscles, that are going to help you get more clients. Without that, it's not going to happen. So that's the first and most important step. The second step, which you're already doing, is to figure out just one business model you want to pursue. And you mentioned to me in your email that that's coaching, which is great. And for anybody else who wants to make this transition, I believe coaching is the fastest, easiest, and best way to get started with an online business in particular. There's lots of different ways, there's lots of business models, but set yourself up for success by just focusing on one. And then the third thing is, with that time, start developing the skills for that particular business model. And how can you best do that? Find somebody who's already doing what you want to be doing and model them. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. I see this is a big mistake a lot of people make, thinking they have to reinvent the wheel. Find somebody who's already doing what you want to be doing, but here's the key. Continue studying with them for 6 to 12 months. Because if you move from one business model to the next, or one mentor to the next, you can see how you just overwhelm yourself, confuse yourself, and you're not really going to build up that momentum and that consistency. Set yourself up for success. Schedule the time, find one person, one mentor you can learn from, stick to them for 6 to 12 months, and then you see how just with your current role that you have right now with your current employer, you most likely had to go through training, right? You got good at it, you probably made a couple mistakes, but then you got better and better each year. I think another important thing is to set realistic expectations. So if we're approaching this like, how do I make this transition overnight or in the next week? Probably unrealistic. But if you have a 6 to 12 month time frame, then you can back things out and start setting goals for yourself. And how would I do that? I'd make my first goal. Okay, let's get my first client on the side as part of my side business in my first month. If you get one client, I believe you can get 10. So then in the second month, you can build off of that success by continuing to learn, by continuing to implement. But where does that come from? It comes from the time you schedule to work on your business. That's the key. So that's what I would focus on for right now. Let's keep it really simple. Let's build off the success you've already got. You already know your business model, and keep working on that. What gets scheduled gets done. And again, see yourself as an entrepreneur right now, that you simply want to grow your business. I think that will set you up for success and get you on the path that you want to make that transition to becoming a better entrepreneur. Now, your second question. Second question is, I have followed you for the last 14 months. I really like the way you teach. Thanks for that. I would like to become a coach and also learn the real estate business. I hope you can teach me both. So the second question would be, what do you recommend me do first, the virtual coach business or the real estate business? Really simple here. So I believe, another key mindset I believe, is that making money and building wealth are two totally different skill sets. Somebody can be an entrepreneur or have a high-paying job, they can make a bunch of money, but oftentimes might not know how to invest it for long-term wealth. Those are two totally different skill sets. Now, to answer your question, what I would focus on right now is becoming a virtual coach, is generating a higher income for yourself, is learning how to get more clients inside your business. And once you increase your income, once you get more cash flow, then you're going to have to know what to do to invest that. And that's where then I would start learning how to invest in real estate, if that's the particular method you want to use for building wealth, which I believe it's a great one. As you know, I believe real estate is the ultimate escalator of wealth. But then I would focus on the same sort of framework and system I just gave you for applying that to how to grow your real estate muscles, how to get good at that, scheduling the time, finding one person who you can learn from, implementing it, and then having realistic expectations. When it comes to real estate, I would have the same goals. I would say, okay, I'm going to commit to this, I'm going to learn this, and within the first year, I want to get my first property. You get one property, you can get 3. You get 3, you can get 10. See what I mean? Very systematic. Build off of the success you have. That's what personally worked really well for me. It's worked for a lot of my students, and I think it can work for you as well. So keep up the great job. Again, as soon as you're done watching this video, which is right now, schedule time to work on your business. That's the most important thing. And then you can learn from one particular mentor, build off of the success you've already got. Have an amazing week, everybody, and I look forward to talking to you next week on next week's video.